Bonjour, everyone. Hi, this is Neshi Lokotz. Welcome to Star Nations Organization's main fan page, where I do this daily live stream all around the divination card, the oracle card that was drawn in the morning for the whole group, okay, for all of us, and for the highest good, our highest good. And what it does is it sparks a spiritual conversation, which is I really enjoy having with you guys. So today is Friday, February 22nd. I know. Isn't that something? We're almost all the way through February already. Yeah. Yeah. I know. I say it every month too. That goes by really, really fast, but it does. It does. So before we get rolling with any of the information or any of the chat, what I'd like to do is share and like the live stream. And I would invite you to do the same if you wouldn't mind. And that is because it's easier to find us, right? And yeah, you guys know what it's like when you're looking for something in Facebook, right? There's just so much information. And so if we can be helpful in any way to those souls who are looking for a spiritual conversation or information that we can possibly share with them, it's kind of like, it's just being kind, I think. So I'm going to send it over to my newsfeed to let my friends know that I'm live streaming and asking them to please join me. There we go. And I think I'm going to use an emojicon on there. Let's see. We'll use a heart. There we go. I will post that. It's actually pretty fast, pretty easy. I do it every day, so I have all these quick keys, that are remembered in my phone, and so it doesn't take very long. Good. Excellent. I don't know about you guys, but and maybe it was just my connection, right? But this morning I was trying to schedule this live stream, and I noticed in Facebook it took forever for posts to load, and I got kind of frustrated with it actually, and said, you know what, I'll come back to it. I'm gonna go make a cup of coffee, and maybe when I get back, things will have sorted itself out. I don't know if it was just me or what. I don't know. All right. Hey, Julie's here. Julie Shumway Hill. Hello there, lady. And Pat is here too. Good afternoon, Pat. Good for you. Valerie, good to see you here. Valerie, I have to apologize. I haven't mailed out your magazine yet, your back issue. Rats. Between the weather and the snow and having the bottom of my driveway, having to wait for Paul to come home to be able to do the snow removal on it, I am like a little bit behind on that, but I am going to get it into the mail to you. I didn't see a private message from you with your snail mail address. If you could PM me that, I would really appreciate it, because chances are Paul is going to be the one who's going to be heading out to do the shipping out of the packages probably tomorrow. So that would be helpful if you could do that. Okay. Hey, and look who just popped in. Amy Daniels did live, not watching the recorded. Welcome, Amy. It's good to see you here. Good. All right. So today here in Tomah, Wisconsin is a beautiful day. Beautiful. I got up to 7 degrees above zero, which is always a good thing. But our high today is like 33 degrees. And I was just outside just for a few minutes with George. I actually had to go look for him in the backyard. When he's out there too long by himself and you can't see him, it's like, what is he up to? And so I went to go check on him, and it was gorgeous out. Yeah. And tomorrow we're supposed to get another snowstorm. It's supposed to start snowing like after midnight tonight here, and snowing all the way through tomorrow and into Sunday. So I was going to move the studio back up to the academy today, and I saw the forecast, and I thought chances are I'm going to have to break everything down and bring it back here anyway. So we're going to end up staying here until probably through the weekend, at least. Yeah, at least. So, yeah. Oh, Stephanie, thank you so much for putting all of that information in the comments about the magazine, the articles. Yeah. Okay. Thank you, Valerie. She said Facebook had been slow and I could not access program last night. And I did put my address somewhere. We'll try again. Thanks so much. Yeah, I don't know if we're friends on Facebook. We might have to be friends in order for you to send me a private message through Messenger, I think. But yeah, and if you sent it, I can search for it too and see if I can find it. All right. Good. And let's see. What else is Stephanie doing here? Oh, yeah. She's also listing classes. Yeah, this is an upcoming class in March. If you're interested in activating your Merkaba and remembering actually what it feels like to be in your heart and spending a whole lot of time there. That's what that weekend is all about. We're going to be doing some healing work too. Yeah. Amy said, I'd rather have snow than the 1 inch of rain than snow. This is true. Freezing rain is not fun. And then it really does freeze on the roads and stuff. So you're right, Amy. I agree. It's much better to have the, total inches of snow. Thing is that Paul's having a problem on where to put it. Yeah. So it'll be interesting. It's like a puzzle. All right. For those people who may be just joining us and wondering, what is this live stream about? And who's this lady? I'm Yvette Neshi Lokotz, and I'm the steward of Star Nations organization, which is a multimedia company. We have the live stream shows here on Facebook. We have, 9, 10. I think we're up to 11 shows now. I'd have to double check on that. I know it's a lot. And here, I could probably do it right now. Let's see. There's Paul Krause and Julie Hedges. And there's From Star to Stone with Mervyn Kelly. And then there's Polly Jola Bay with Chakra Sessions and Soul Connections. And then my weekly show, Communications from Home. And then there is Nature Adventures, right? And then there is Spiritual Mysteries of Life, the Mystery School, Life Wisdom with Ed Langen, and Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann. I think I got everybody. That's 11. Yeah. So we have a really wide range of we're very eclectic in our belief systems and both spiritual and also religion, and the common denominator, that common thread, is spirit and compassion and love. And so you guys might find 1 or 2 shows that you really, really like and follow those show hosts. We also have the magazine, the Star Nations magazine, and that's a monthly issue that's in print on demand and also digital. We also have the classes at the Academy, which have in-person classes, but we also offer them a free mini class every month through the Facebook closed group every month. And this fall we're going to be starting online classes. Yeah, not everything that all the teachers teach can be taught through online, but those that we can deliver online, that we're going to be getting it started in the fall. So yay! So that's why I call us a multimedia company. But it's shows like this that is a daily show. I found to be not just enjoyable, but I love spending time with you guys and having these kinds of conversations, these spiritual conversations. It so reminds me of back in the day. Like, let's see, we've been here for 12 years. Yeah, about 13 years ago or 14 years ago, I was holding spiritual roundtables at my house where where we used to live in Poynette, Wisconsin. And it was once a month. And we met from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. And it was pretty informal. Whoever wanted to show up showed up. They could stay for as long as they wanted. If they stayed through lunchtime, they would have to bring, like a potluck kind of thing going on. Sometimes we'd have 2 or 3 people. Sometimes we'd have 25, 28 people in my dining room. It was fun. And we never knew what the topic was going to be. We would meet and we'd just start chatting, and pretty soon, the main topic would emerge, and it would be sometimes a very, very deep conversation about spirit. Yeah. There's one time that always sticks in my mind, right? Always sticks in my mind as a really great memory. We had, I think, 8 or 10 people at that spiritual roundtable. And there was a couple ladies that was the first time there. And they're sitting at the dining room table, and we're having tea. A couple people had divination cards out, and we're shuffling through them and just chatting. I think we went through cats and dogs and that sort of thing. And one of the new ladies said, she said, I'm just starting out, and I'm very interested in Reiki, and I was wondering if you guys could help me. How do I choose a teacher? Because there's several out there, because we lived near Madison, right? And so there were a lot of Reiki masters to be able to study with. And I smile is because sitting directly across from her, were 3 Reiki masters with more than 15 years experience as teachers, and as Reiki practitioners, probably close to 20 years or 25 years of experience. And so when she asked that question, she didn't realize how much experience was sitting around that table. And you know what? These 3 teachers were so compassionate with her and so giving. They talked about the beginnings of Reiki and how they started and who their teachers were, and gave her suggestions about how to discern a teacher for herself. And, it's those kinds of conversations that you can't schedule and script. You just can't do that. And so those are the kind of conversations that I'm hoping that we have here, that those pieces of wisdom kind of come out, right? Yeah, that's what I'm hoping. Yeah. Yeah, Amy says that's an exciting. Looking forward to seeing the online class offerings. Yeah, I need to get started on that. Right now, what's on my short list of things to get done is the March issue of the Star Nations magazine. That's on the very short list. And of course, the live stream shows every day. But we have 2 new books coming out this year. Yeah. We have The Sound Weavers by Madonna De Palo. Her book launch is going to be at the end of March. And so we're working diligently on Madonna's new book. It's all about whales and dolphins, and it's a children's book. I think you guys are going to like it. Christine Pollock did the illustrations for her book. So that's exciting, and that has taken some of my energy and time to help with. And the second book is actually Orchard Franklin's book. We're looking at September for her book, thereabouts. We don't have an actual date yet for the launch, but it's a compilation of her articles for Star Nations magazine. And she's been writing for us since 2014. And so we're going to be looking through all of her articles and picking out the ones that she really wants to be able to share with a lot more people. And and so we'll be working on that one pretty dang soon. We got to get a cover done. So we have two books coming out, and I'm going to try to fit in a calendar too. I don't know how well that's going to go, but we're going to try. We're looking at a perpetual calendar. Yeah. Yeah, so one that you'll be able to use, for more than just 12 months. And yeah, so that's what we're looking at. I don't know how close we are going to be able to pull that one off, but we're going to give it a good go. And so the publishing end of Star Nations is we had to turn up and bring things to the front burner and turn up the heat on them. Yeah, get them to really start to boil. They've been simmering for a while. Now we just need to get them prepared for service. So anyway, the cards that we're currently using is the Druid Animal Oracle by Stephanie and Philip Cargome, illustrated by Bill Worthington. And they're from England, and so the perspective that they write from is definitely a UK perspective. But let me tell you, I'm learning a lot about Druidry. Philip Cargome happens to be Mervyn Kelly's mentor, and Mervyn Kelly is the one who gifted me the Oracle deck. And he happens to be one of our show hosts, right? Live stream show hosts from Star to Stone. It's his show the second Tuesday of every month. And so, yeah, on occasion, Mervyn is in the chat and answers questions. On occasion, I can get him to actually come on camera with me. And so to get his take firsthand of the messages coming through the cards. So yeah, I like it. Pat is saying a calendar would be great. I know, and you know what the hard part is, Pat, is which pictures to use, right? Which pictures to use. Do we do an astronomy one? Because we have so many really cool astronomy pictures over the last 5 years with Native American quotes attached to them that, I pulled together. Or do we take pictures from each one of the contributing writers? Because Karen Carly Suzani, Earth Energies is the name of her column, and she has some fantastic pictures of sacred geometry and Earth Energies. And then you have Minnie Kansman's wonderful pictures, right? So that's the challenge. That's the challenge, and it's kind of a nice challenge to have. Yeah. Hey, this is a great idea, Stephanie. This is a good one. She has this. Do you know that Star Nations community has 6 Facebook groups? The main group, which is the main fan page, is what we're on right now. Then there's the Academy closed group, the magazine public group, and then there's the radio network closed group, and then there is the publishing page, and then there is the main organization fan page. Yeah. It keeps us a little busy, just a mite. All right. Today we have 2 cards because the first card that came is one that we've had before. And just recently, actually. Just recently. Look who came back to visit. Dog. Yeah. And this happens to be an Irish deerhound. So they're rather large, a large breed, a little bit shaggy. Yeah, and sitting by a pool of water. Behind him, looks like a cave, doesn't it? And the stone people behind him. The last time we had this card, we were talking about some of the faces and images in the stone people. Yeah. And so when this card literally jumped out of the deck and flew under George's kennel, his crate. When I picked it up, it said dog. It's like, I was talking to my spiritual team. I said, you guys are so funny. Let's have them cover dog one more time, and let's pop it out of the duck and have it float underneath George's kennel. So it's like dog, dog, right? Double dog. Isn't that something? Wait, double dog dare you? Isn't that a saying? A double dog dare you? Like I said, my team does have a sense of humor. That's for sure. Hey, look who just popped in. Hello, Gina. Good to have you here. Always good to see you in the chat. So, so I was talking to my team and I said, all right, so obviously there's something more with the spirit of dog, the medicine of dog, that either we need to go deeper with or that we didn't cover the first time, right? And so I asked, do we have to cover something that we haven't covered before? And top of my head, my crown chakra just went boom. Is that we're going to go deeper. We're going to go deeper. And so they had me shuffle again to get the second card. And the second card that came to help us understand the deeper meaning of dog is the ram. And we've also had ram before. Early on, when we first started using the deck earlier in the month, because we started on February 1st. Yeah. So we got ram. And one of the things that I noticed first about these two cards is that both of them are grounded, all 4 feet on the ground, touching Grandmother Earth. So what we're looking at is some information, some of the meaning about dog is the message that dog is bringing to us that we would like to ground to the earth plane. Yeah. I think Amy's laughing with my spiritual team. I tell you, they do have a sense of humor, which is great, And Barbie says things happen for a reason. They absolutely do. Absolutely do. Sometimes we don't always understand the reason in the moment. Sometimes we have to have some of that earth time to go by in order for us to get the full meaning, right? The full meaning. Got to take a drink of water. All right. So one of the things that I like to do when we get cards like this is to have us look at them together to get the feeling, to check in with our intuition, right? What is the first thing that you notice about the cards, right? When they're together. The first thing I noticed is that they were grounded. And that they're not looking quite straight on to us. They're rather glancing. Right? And of course, we got stone people. Yeah. So let me refresh your memory a bit about dog from the author's point of view, okay? So wait, I'm going to bookmark the ram. And so the dog, in English, obviously, right? And Gaelic, it's cu, spelled C-U, cu. All right. And so the author uses words that symbolize the essence of dog as guidance, protection, and loyalty. Guidance, protection, and loyalty. He says the card shows a deer hound similar to the hound portrayed in the bronze figure found at the 3rd century shrine of the healer god Nodens at Lydney, Gloucestershire. Another healing sanctuary at Nettleton Shrub in Wiltshire was dedicated to Apollo Cunmegalus, the Celtic hound lord, showing that the dog was strongly associated with healing. It's a bright summer day with a dog Rose, dog Daisy, dog Violet, and dog Periwinkle all in flower. These hot days of July and August are called the dog days because at the period the dog star, Sirius, rises and sets with the sun. We see a pool beside the dog, for there is a deep symbolic connection between the dog and water. Okay, that's about the card. Now, the author does go on to say that that Ku brings guidance and protection, acting as a loyal companion and friend on your journey in both this life and the next. In the Druid tradition, the dog is seen as the guardian of the mysteries. Guardian of the mysteries. He can be fierce, but if our intentions are good, then Ku will lead us over the threshold through the darkness and the waters of the unconscious toward the shimmering realm of the goddess. Now that's quite a picture, isn't it? To create. So he's a protector of our spirit, of our soul when we're crossing over, and can lead us through the darkness and into the light to the goddess. Ku, the spirit of Ku, to defend your values or protect that which you hold sacred. Faithfulness, trust, and loyalty are vital ingredients of close relationships. And the spirit of Ku or dog medicine can help us learn about those traits, to be those traits, if we so choose. Right? He goes on to say that when Ku is your ally, he will help you to develop the qualities of selflessness and trust, and will nurture close relationships. Nurturing close relationships. So that is about the dog. So when we pair that up, because that was the first card, right? So what we need to take something deeper. And so what is it that Ram can help us with to take that deeper? Yeah, and Barbie is saying the first thing that she saw was the stones. In both pictures, Barbie? In both cards? Yeah. The stone people. All right, so here is Ram. And how to pronounce it in Gaelic. I got to look up the pronunciation guide here. I was going to try to remember that. And guess what? I didn't. All right, so with Ram, it's pronounced Reithe, and it's spelled Reithe, pronounced Reithe. Reithe. Okay. So in the card, the author says it symbolizes sacrifice, breakthrough, and achievement. Sacrifice, breakthrough, and achievement. The card shows a ram with an ewe and lambs in the background. To the left, we see sheep bit, also known as sheep's kidney, and to the right, sheep sorrel, 2 plants. In the foreground grows stone ramble. A ram head snake is carved into the rock. Okay. He goes on to say that the Reithe brings the ability to achieve a breakthrough. Particularly attached to the place of its birth, the ram represents connection, rootedness, stability, And yet it also represents the power to penetrate, overcome, and achieve. Working with the Ram as your ally will help you to find the inner strength you need to succeed. By persevering, by being patient and attending to the needs of your daily life, as well as your future goals, you will find the day comes when you achieve a breakthrough, accomplishing what you have set out to achieve and discovering that you have also come home. And the question that you can ask yourself when it comes to Ram energy is, where do I really feel at home? Where do I really feel at home? So the ram symbolizes sacrifice because they give up their life to give nourishment and have already given its coat and its milk in many, many different ways. It says that although sheep were valued primarily for their live contribution to the economy, the ram was considered particularly suitable for sacrifice. And so the Druids in those early days would use the ram as a sacrifice. And the ram giving its life force to whatever ceremony that they were doing. But the ram can also help us by teaching us about the nature of opposites. So it's one of those breakthroughs, right? And since we live here on Earth, the school of duality, the ram energy can help us with sorting out and finding balance within the opposites. Now, that serpent head, that ram head serpent, it suggests that the ram's head was added to the serpent's body to emphasize the power and penetrative nature of the masculine. Its association with the iconography with solar and sky gods reinforces this interpretation. The ram was not used as a symbol of a warriorhood. Instead, its connection with power, fertilization, and healing was stressed by associating it with the snake. Yeah. So what does that have to do with dog, right? Now remember, dog was also associated with healing because it's associated with water, and it's healing, and water represents emotions. So this is something that kind of came to me as I was looking at the pictures and knowing that dog, because we just covered dog, right? About the healing in the water. And that dog can actually help us with trust and with relationships. They're a loyal companion, right? So my take on it, my feeling about it is that is where we're going to go deeper. And that the ram can help us with perseverance and achieving, because it too is about healing. Yeah. All right. Hey, Rochelle's here. She says, had to go to the doctors. I have an ulcer. Well, it's probably from all the medication you've been on. Rats, huh? Rob says, did you just tell us to ram it? Not in those words. Rochelle said those cards are very appropriate for me healing. Yeah. You know, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to show those cards together again. Except I've got to mark one of them here. I'm going to use my pen. Mark one of the pages. All right. For those who just showed up, we're going to show the cards together. So dog came first this morning, and I asked if we needed a second card to help us to understand the message coming from dog, since we just had him a couple of days ago. And so these are the two cards that are together. And actually, I think it feels better the first way I had it. There we go. And so after taking in the information about Ram and dog, the things that they have in common is the healing and that they're grounded. And so since they both have the energy of healing associated with them, and dog is strongly associated with water and that loyal companionship, that trust and relationship, right? Is that I really think that what Spirit is asking us to do is take a look at how our current relationships are, and where do we find ourselves being able to trust? Who in our friendship and maybe family, right? Our inner circle. How do we nurture those relationships? Are we nurturing them? Do you desire more positive and supportive relationships? Trusting relationships? And what do you have to do to heal? What do you have to heal in order to have that in your life? Because with the Ram medicine, Ram can actually help us to achieve that, right? Because the words associated with Ram is sacrifice, breakthrough, and achievement. So if we're looking for more healthier relationships that are based on trust, on loyalty, that Ram could actually help us with that medicine coming from dog. Because I think dog is the one that is showing us that whatever emotional trauma that we need to heal, or to remove those emotional blocks, so that we can have the opportunity to experience relationships that are based in trust, loyalty. Yeah. What do you think of that? Yeah. Hey, Jean's here. Hello, Jean. Good to have you here. Yeah. And when I was pulling all this together, how, what did it feel like to me? The question I had for myself was, do I have friendships, relationships that are supportive and trusting, loyal? Do I have that in my life? And I have to say, I do. I have an inner circle of friends and family, of people I trust, and that I nurture those relationships as best I can. There's sometimes when I know that I don't, because of my kind of work schedule, that I'm not exactly always available. There have been times when I've shifted things around in my workload so that I can be there for one of my sisters. when they have a friend or family that has crossed over, right? Or that they're going through surgery, or something like that. Could I be better at it? Yes. You know, and then I wondered, I wonder how they perceive me in that inner circle relationship, right? Um, because sometimes we can only see that one perspective, and without needing to ask them, then, right? Needing to ask them how they perceive our relationship. So that's a good question, I think, don't you? To pose to our audience, to you guys. Um, do you have a circle of friends or family that you have a healthy relationship with, and that it's a kind of relationship that has those qualities of the dog medicine, right? About companionship and trust, loyalty, and that they're part of they're the ones that when they hear somebody saying something about you that isn't true, um, the gossipy kind of stuff, and they're the ones that'll say, "Wait a minute, that's not who you're talking about, is it? Because that's not who she is," and will actually speak up for you. You know. Or if you are having one of those low moments, and you can actually talk to them about it, right? They're the ones that will either tell you, you know what, okay, you got 5 more minutes of the pity party, and then we're going to turn this thing around. Because they only want the best for you. They're the ones that will sit you down and be honest with you and truthful with you, even though you may not want to hear it. And they'll try to bring it to you in a way that is not mean-hearted, right? Yeah. You know, those kind of people. Do you have that kind of relationship? And if you say yes, are you nurturing that relationship? And if you are, how are you doing that? I think this is a way to be able to actually consider if you need some healing around something in order to be that kind of friend, that kind of partnership in that relationship. Yeah. Remember the balance of giving and receiving? Yeah. And if you don't have it, or you have it, but you think, you know what, it could be so much better. It could be so much better. Then what is it on your side of the street that you have the responsibility to heal, to release? Because dog is all about the healing. That's why he's sitting by the water. Emotional healing. So that you can be that kind of friend. You can be that kind of companion. You can be known for your trustworthiness and your loyalty. Yeah. I'm going to get caught up with you guys in the chat here. Yeah, I think so, Jane. She says, good cards. I think so too. Yeah, and she's saying, I wonder the same thing. And Rochelle says, I have 5 people in my life that I trust. That's good. That's good, Rochelle. Even if we had just one person in our life that we trust, that is excellent. because there's a lot of people who have real trust issues, and they may have a lot of acquaintances, they may have a lot of people in their life, but they may not have that kind of relationship that's close, that you can sit down and talk to them about anything, and knowing that they're not going to turn around and tell somebody else, right? And if you choose to tell someone else, they'll be there standing by your side as you share whatever it is that you're going to share, so that you have support. Gina saying, yes, I need the healing in this area. How to do the healing? Okay, good question. So it is about emotional healing, I think. If you want to have a trusting relationship, a companionship, and all those good traits to that the dog carries, and you don't feel that you have that, there's obviously there's some things that need to be healed, right? So first of all, identifying what it is that needs to be healed or released. And you can, depending on what it is, basically is having that intention and stating it to your spiritual team and asking them for help. Asking them, how do I do this? Show me how to do this. Tell me how to do this. Or if it needs a healer, is I would like to have this healed. I would like to have it removed so that I can have friendships that are based in trust, right? And ask them to bring you the healer. That's how you get started. That's how I got started. Is I turned to my team and said, I need help. Here's something I don't share with everybody, but I'm going to share it publicly. All right. So you guys know that my mom is here with us, right? And Paul's mom, she moved up here in last May, and she's living in assisted living, which is about 3 minutes from here. So very close. One of the things that my mom and my mom-in-law have in common, well, they have a couple things in common. They're both Geminis. They're both born on the same day, not the same year, but the same day. Yeah. And the other thing that they have in common, that they almost, when they talk about it, it's almost like a badge of courage, right? Is that they'll say, well, when I was your age, I never did coffee clutches. I never had any friends. No neighbors that, they would call, dear friends. My mother-in-law had friends, but they were friends through my father-in-law and his friends. They were the wives of his friends. And I took that in because, that's one of the ways that we can learn, right? I took that in and I thought, and I'm looking at what their life is like now. It's a pretty lonely life. I thought, I don't want that. When I'm their age, 70s, 80s, 90s, I want to have those friends that have been with me for a really long time, that we're going to travel together, that we're going to have dinner together, that we're going to spend weekends together, that we can Skype call or FaceTime, that we can sit and have a conversation through FaceTime, even though we can't be there physically together, and get caught up, see what's going on in their lives, right? So I learned something from the moms in my life, is that it's not healthy. It's not a healthy thing not to have friends. It's a lonely life. So, you know, so now they say, why do I need friends? I've got you. or Paul's mom has him, right? Which is better than nothing, I suppose. Yeah. Rochelle says, I put the label of friendship very seriously. I have a lot of acquaintances. Me too. Me too, Rochelle. I do. But my inner circle, yeah, there's not that many. It's less than 10 people. But see, I got to stop and count them now. Yeah. Jean's saying funny. I know, those mothers. Who knew when Paul and I first met that our mothers were born on the same day and they're both Geminis and they have a lot of things in common. Geminis are fun. Yes, they are. I'm surrounded by them. I can attest to that. When I realized I had all of these Geminis around me, I thought, is that normal to have most of the people in my life to be Geminis? They spend a lot of time in their head. They spend a lot of time ruminating about stuff. They start a conversation in the middle of it or near the middle of it, and I'm trying to piece it together. I'm pretty good at it because I have so many of them in my life. They'll start talking about something, but they don't, because the conversation's already started in their mind, and they're bringing it to me as they're thinking out loud, right? And so it's like sometimes I have to stop and say, wait a minute, are you still talking about so-and-so or whatever that happened? So I can try to follow and doing the jumping, their mental jumps from one subject to another. Nimble-minded. Nimble-minded. Yeah. And then I realized that I'm a triple Sag, right? So triple fire. Yeah. And Julie Hedges actually says I'm quadruple. That's a lot of fire. And to nurture fire, you have air. So that's why I have a lot of air around me, which is the Gemini. Yeah. At least I figured that out. Jean saying, of course. Jean says, Sagittarius get along well with them. Yep. Our fire. Yes, we do. Yes, we do. They nurture us. They nurture us. See, didn't I tell you? Pat, now you're another one, another Gemini. I have, okay, you count the two moms, you count my husband and his twin sister, and you count one of my sisters, Teresa, and then there's Polly Joe, and I'm missing two. I have like 8 or 9 Geminis that are close to me. Close. Yeah. So anyway, let's get back to dog and ram. So I do believe that dog came back to us the second go around with him is because of healing. Because of healing. Oops, it's going to go this way. And that the ram can help us with that perseverance, that breakthrough. I think it's important that this healing, that to bring those qualities that dog medicine can bring to us. If that is your desire, is to have stable friends in your life, friends that are honest and trustworthy, that they care about you, then you have to have those qualities too, to have that kind of relationship. And so if that's your desire to have, then that is what you have to nurture in yourself, right? Yeah. And so then we have to take a look at what is it that needs to be healed, because dog is all about healing and associated with water, which is the symbol and represents emotions, healing. Yeah. Jean says, Mom, but good you don't have hair, because that would be a lot of. That's true. That's funny, Jean. All right. So how do you feel about that with these two energies, these two medicines together, dog medicine and ram medicine? Yeah. And behind the ram up there on the hill is a female sheep, a ewe, nurturing children, nurturing her children. Yeah. There's something that just crossed my mind, is that recently, I've had people who were in my life when I was very young, a child, coming back into my life, where we're at our late 50s, right? And I've had to sit back and look at that, because it's like nothing, everything has a reason, or the way it's happening, right? And so I sat back, and I was even sharing this with Paul. I said, have you noticed that? And he said, yeah, I did. He said, you even have somebody that's helping you as part of your executive team. Julie Shumway Hill has been in my life since grade school. We've known each other that long. Were we close friends in school? No, we knew of each other. It was a small school. How could we not know each other, right? And then there's another classmate, Debbie Wynn Knitsky, is back in my life. My bookkeeper for Star Nations is my BFF from grade school all the way through junior high and high school, Marley. And so I have these women who I've known since childhood have come back into my life. And then not yesterday, I'm sorry, it was last week. I think it was like Wednesday or Thursday last week. I was at the post office. I was doing some mailing, and somebody taps me on the shoulder, and it's somebody who I haven't seen in like 5 years. 5 years. Yeah. And I'd been thinking about her, thinking I should try to get a hold of her again. But, we live in the same area. We never see each other. And here she is, standing one person behind me at the post office. So we hugged, and, so there's something with that in this card about dog, right? To have the nurturing those relationships. Yeah. And do we do that? Do we just talk about it, or are we actually applying what we know on how to nurture? As I'm talking, okay, George is laying here, right? Helping to hold energy. He's sleeping. He's a happy boy, because a lot of times in his sleep, he's wagging his tail and he's having fun. Dog energy. All right. All right. Jean's saying, really right on target. How can I be a better friend? Yeah. Because if, how as within, so without, right? It's a Hermetic law, is that if that's what we want in our life, is a nurturing friend, somebody that we trust, somebody who treats us well, who cares about us, who's excited and happy to see us whenever they do, then we have to be the same way, because that's what we're creating on the outside, right? And so what is it that we need to heal and or release in order to have that in our life? Yeah. Stephanie says, feels on par with current events in my life. Oh, well, that's good then. That's an insight, right? Pat saying, I'm feeling a deepness with these cards. Me too. Me too. It really made me stop and take stock of those people who are in my inner circle. Those are the people that I can call at 3:00 in the morning and say, I need help. And I know that they would be there. They're the same ones that when I was going through such a hard time in 2017, that I called and finally said, this is what's going on. And it would, can you guys come? All but one showed up on a weekend. They gave up stuff, moved things around so that they could come here. And we're talking about people from out of state that were coming in to be with me, to help me. And so that kind of companionship and friendship, that kind of sisterhood, right? Nurtured. We've been together for, well, some of us together since 2001. So, 17 years. Yeah, long time. So that's what I think Dog was coming back around to share with us, and to give us the opportunity at least to either consider it, right? And to really look at, if we want this in our lives, how do we go about creating that? And I think it starts with the healing process. Healing. Yeah. Jean, you're very giving and sincere. Well, thank you, Jean. But I have to tell you, Jean, is that every day when I do these daily live streams, I'm talking to my team minutes before we begin. And I ask them to be here with me and to help me to express what needs to be expressed for the highest good, and the courage to share what needs to be shared. And I would like to give them the credit for that, because otherwise, I don't know if I would actually say this kind of stuff in public, but to have the courage to be able to share that. Yeah. So, but thank you, Jean. I appreciate it. Valerie says, yes, just spent most of the last night and this AM with friend and her mom in ER. Ah, yeah. Good for you, Valerie. Really good for you that that they mean that much to you, that you would give up your sleep, right? That you would make sure that they're taken care of, that they had, the cup of coffee, or that extra blanket, or making telephone calls for them, that kind of stuff. Yeah. Good for you. All right. So we're at the top of the hour, or a little bit over. And what I'd like to say is, if any of this resonated with you, any of the information, is to please embrace it, and see how it helps you with the unfolding of the energy and the energy flowing today. Is it helpful to you? And if it is, yay! Then you've got one more layer of healing to take care of, and so that you can create the kind of life that you want, that you desire. And if it didn't resonate with you, don't worry about it. It's okay. It's all right. There's always tomorrow in tomorrow's cards, that there's a possibility that you'll resonate with it. And so today's Friday, right? Weekend starting. Wishing you guys a good weekend. Yeah, things that are coming up for Star Nations for next week. We've got a few shows. We've got Polly Joe LeBay on Tuesday at noon. We have this live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we also have Communications from Home at 8 p.m. Eastern. We're doing the Unity Breath Meditation, by the way, next week. And then Polly Joe's Soul Connections on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. And then on Thursday we start with Spiritual Mysteries of Life with Connie Sheer Vaughter. And that's at 10:30 Eastern. And then we have this live stream at 3 p.m. Eastern. And then we have Angel Therapy with Maureen Mann at 4 p.m. Eastern. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern is the Mystery School. So Thursday is going to be like, you guys are going to have so many live stream shows to select from. With really good information, right? All right. You're welcome, Pat. You're welcome. I'm glad that you're here too, because you know what, you guys, having this kind of conversation, you can't just get that everywhere, can you? Yeah. Thank you, though. I bet it was, Valerie, your experience with your friends. And Jane is saying, wishing you a fabulous weekend as well. Thank you. You're welcome. All right. So with that, enjoy the rest of your Friday, and we'll see you back here tomorrow at 3 p.m. Eastern for the daily live stream and the group card draw. Okay. Bama Mina, that's Potawatomi 4, until we see each other again. Love you guys.